Jai Hind students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Students, limits exist only in the mind. Yes, limits exist only in the mind. Actually, mind is the chief factor governing the body. And believe me, one should always avoid suggesting to the mind the thoughts of human limitations.
With that positive note, students, let's begin today's session. Today, we will be discussing the factors on which the intensity or rather the strength of the magnetic field due to a straight current carrying conductor depends, right? So before we start discussing the factors, let us recapitulate the already learned topics. Like we have discussed about Oersted experiment, isn't it? So suppose this is a current carrying conductor. Current is flowing along this direction. So if a magnetic compass is kept near this straight current carrying conductor, then that compass needle is found to show some sort of deflection, right? So the deflection shown by the compass needle when placed near a current carrying conductor suggests that magnetic field get established around this current carrying conductor. And the direction of this magnetic field, students, as we are aware, it is given by thumb rule, right hand thumb rule, isn't it? So right hand thumb rule states that if a current carrying conductor is imagined to be held in the right hand like this, if a current carrying conductor is imagined to be held in a right hand, right, such that the thumb points towards the direction of the current. Suppose the current is flowing along this direction. So it's like this. The thumb must represent the direction of the flow of current. Then the curled fingers, these are the curled fingers, right? Then the curled fingers of the hand indicate the direction of the magnetic field. Clear? So again I repeat the statement, students. The direction of the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor is given by right hand thumb rule. This we have already discussed. We are simply trying to recapitulate these topics, right? So right hand thumb rule states that if a current carrying conductor is imagined to be held in the palm of our right hand in such a manner that the thumb indicates towards the direction of the current. The thumb indicates towards the direction of the current. Then the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that gives the direction of the magnetic field, right? So let's once again plot the magnetic field lines due to a straight conductor. Suppose the current is flowing along this direction as shown in the figure. So in that case, the field lines will be like this, as shown by the curled fingers of my right hand, isn't it? So the direction of the field lines will be like this. These are the field lines. So field lines, as you can see, these are in the form of concentric loops. They are in the form of concentric loops like this. These are the field lines, right? While on the other hand, if you consider the current to be reversed like this, if the current is flowing in the reverse direction, so now it will be like this, isn't it? The thumb is indicating the direction of the current, isn't it? And the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that gives the direction of the magnetic field. So in that case, it will be like this. So in this case, the magnetic field lines, its direction will get changed. They are in the form of continuous closed loops. That is, they neither have any starting point nor they do have any terminating point. So these are the magnetic field lines due to a straight current carrying conductor. Right? So this is as per right hand thumb rule. So the magnetic field lines, students, they are in the form of continuous closed loops. They neither have starting point nor do they have any terminating or end point. Now let us discuss the factors on which the intensity or the magnetic field due to this current carrying conductor depends. Now first and foremost, the magnetic field due to this current carrying conductor is found to be dependent on the current flowing through this conductor. Now it is found that if the current flowing through a conductor is increased, then the deflection of the compass needle placed near the conductor is found to also increase. On the other hand, students, if the current flowing through the conductor is decreased, then it is found that the deflection of the needle of the magnetic compass placed near the conductor also decreases. It shows deflection, but through small amount in that case. So this clearly suggests that the strength of the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor is directly proportional to the amount of current flowing through it. So the first point is the strength of the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor is directly proportional to the amount of current flowing through it. That is, if we indicate the strength of the magnetic field by B, B represents the strength of the magnetic field. It is directly proportional to I. So, if the current flowing through the conductor is increased, the strength of the magnetic field due to this current carrying conductor at a point will also increase. And in case, if the current flowing through the conductor is decreased, then the magnetic field at a given point will also decrease. Right? So magnetic field, which is represented by capital letter B, is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor. So this is the first point on which the magnetic field due to current carrying conductor depends. Second, students, it also depends upon the distance from the conductor. Suppose this is the point, this is case 1, this is point A and this is point B. Point A is closer to the current carrying conductor, point B is further away from the current carrying conductor. It is found that for a given current, the magnetic field at point A is found to be stronger than the strength of the magnetic field at point B. What I mean to say is that if the magnetic compass needle, experimentally it's proved that if the magnetic compass needle is placed near the current carrying conductor, then the deflection of the needle of the magnetic compass is quite large. It is appreciable. On the other hand, if the magnetic compass needle is taken from point A to point B, which is a farther distance away from the current carrying conductor, then the deflection of the needle of the magnetic compass is quite small. So this very much shows that the strength of the magnetic field due to current carrying conductor decreases with the increase of the distance. The greater the distance of the observation point from the straight current carrying conductor, the smaller will be the strength of the magnetic field at that point, right? So basically the second point is the strength of the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor is inversely proportional. Greater the distance, smaller will be the strength of the magnetic field, and smaller the distance, greater will be the strength of the magnetic field. So it is indirectly proportional to the distance from the current carrying conductor. that is mathematically, as I've stated, the magnetic field is represented by capital letter B. And suppose the distance of the observation point from the conductor is r, small r, then it will be inversely proportional to r. So magnetic field at a point due to a current carrying conductor is inversely proportional to the distance from the conductor, right? So these are the two factors, students, on which the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor depends, right? And here I would like to mention one more important thing. Now look, magnetic field due to a beam of charged particles. Moving beam of positive charged particles. Positive charged particles, you are aware, like protons, alpha particles, these are positive charged particles, right? Whenever they move in a particular direction, obviously they will constitute electric current in the direction of their movement. So magnetic field is also set up around the beam of these charged particles. So always remember, students, whenever charged particle moves in a particular direction, then it constitutes current. And whenever there is a current, magnetic field is set up around its vicinity, around its surroundings. While on the other hand, in case of moving beam of neutrons, you are aware they are neutral particles, they do not constitute electric current. Hence, magnetic field will not be set up around the beam of neutrons, right? Now students, let us discuss the factors on which the magnetic field produced at the center of a current carrying circular coil depends. In the earlier case, we have considered a straight current carrying conductor. Now we will consider the case of a current carrying circular loop. First and foremost, before discussing the factors, let's again draw the field lines due to a current carrying circular loop, right? So this is suppose a current carrying circular loop in which the current is flowing in the clockwise direction as shown in the figure. This is the direction of the current. Current always flows from higher potential to lower potential, that is from the positive terminal of the source to the negative terminal, right? This is the current. This is the source and this is the key. Now students, here the current is along this direction, isn't it? And here the current is along this direction. And this is a horizontal plane. Here we are supposed to plot the magnetic field lines due to this circular current carrying coil. So the direction of the magnetic field is found by using right hand thumb rule, isn't it? Here the current direction, it's like this, it's in the upward direction. So let's apply this rule like this. The thumb indicates the direction of the current, isn't it? And the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that will give us the direction of the magnetic field. So here the magnetic field lines will be represented like this. I am representing with the help of dotted lines. As we have discussed, they are in the form of continuous closed loops. So they will be represented in this particular form. Like students, so if you consider this face of the loop, the magnetic field lines will appear to enter this face, isn't it? Magnetic field lines will appear to enter this face. While consider this one, the direction of the current in this particular section is in the downward direction, like this. So it will be like this, the thumb indicating the direction of the current. So the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that gives the direction of the magnetic field. So here it will be like this. The direction of the magnetic field lines will be along this direction. So what we conclude is, in case the current in the circular loop flows in the clockwise direction, then the field lines, the magnetic field lines, when seen through the face of the current carrying loop, it will appear to enter like this. All the field lines will appear to enter through this face. They will tend to enter through this face, right? Now let's consider the current or the polarity of this battery to be reversed. Here the polarity of the battery is reversed, so that the direction of the current now flows through the circular loop in the anti-clockwise direction, like this. So let's plot the field lines in this case. So as I've stated, here the field lines, again its direction will be given by right hand thumb rule. So current, its direction is represented by the thumb, and the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that gives the direction of the magnetic field. So around this current carrying section, the field lines will be like this. So magnetic field lines, as we have discussed earlier, they are in the form of continuous closed loops, concentric loops having the same common center. So they do not have any starting point, nor do they have any terminating or end point. So these are dotted ones. These are the magnetic field lines, right? Like this. So in this case, when the current is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction in the circular loop, the magnetic field line seems to be coming out of this face of the loop. They seem to come out of the plane of this loop, isn't it? Here again, if you plot the magnetic field lines, it will be like this. It will be like this, right? It will appear to come out of this. So the direction of the field lines would be along this direction, like this. So students, these are some very, very important diagrams. These, you might be asked to plot the field lines due to a straight current carrying conductor or due to a current carrying loop. So these are the field lines. So what we conclude is, if the current in the circular loop flows in the clockwise direction, then the magnetic field lines will seem to enter the plane of the loop, right? And in case the current through the loop flows in the anti-clockwise direction, then the field lines will seem to come out of the plane of the loop. So from these two observations, we can safely conclude that in case current in the circular loop flows in the clockwise direction, then this face of the loop tends to behave as south pole, because we are already aware of the field lines and the magnetic field lines due to a bar magnet, right? Basically inside the bar magnet, the field lines are directed from south to north, and outside it is directed from north to south. So here, in case the current is flowing in the clockwise direction, the field line seems to be entering this face. So in case the current is flowing in the clockwise direction, this face of the loop will behave as south pole, isn't it? While in this case, if the current is flowing through the circular loop in the anti-clockwise direction, it is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction, then the field line seems to come out of this plane of the loop. So accordingly, this face of the loop will behave as north pole, right? Outside the bar magnet, we are aware magnetic field lines are directed from north pole to south pole. It enters the south pole and it comes out of the north pole. So in that case, if the current through the loop appears to be moving in the anti-clockwise direction, then this face of the loop will behave as north polarity, like this. You can remember by this result. Anti-clockwise means that face of the current carrying loop will behave as north polarity. Clockwise, if the current is flowing in the clockwise direction, then that face of the loop will behave as south polarity, right? So basically, a current carrying loop, it does behave as a dipole only. It does behave as a magnet only. One face of the loop through which the current appears to be flowing in the clockwise direction, that will behave as the south polarity, while the other face of the same current carrying loop through which current appears to be flowing in the anti-clockwise direction will behave as the north polarity, right? Now our objective is to find out the factors on which the magnetic field produced at the center of a current carrying coil depends. At the center, suppose this is point O, this is point O. Here, the strength of the magnetic field depends on various factors. First and foremost, it depends upon the amount of the current flowing through the wire. It depends upon the amount of current flowing through the wire. And as we have discussed in the earlier case as well, the magnetic field, it is represented by capital letter B. It is found to be directly proportional to the current flowing through the circular loop. That is, the strength of the magnetic field due to a current carrying circular loop is directly proportional to the amount of current flowing through it. More the amount of current made to pass through the circular loops, greater will be the strength of the magnetic field due to this circular current carrying loop, right? So this is the first factor. Magnetic field, or rather the strength of the magnetic field, is directly proportional to the current which is made to pass through the circular current carrying loop. Second, students, it is also found to depend on the radius of the circular loop. Suppose the radius is r. This is suppose the radius which is r, right? In that case, it is found that the strength of the magnetic field, that is B, at the center of the current carrying circular wire is inversely proportional to the radius. This is the current carrying conductor, and we have discussed the strength of the magnetic field at a point is inversely proportional to the distance from the current carrying conductor. So obviously greater the radius, smaller will be the strength of the magnetic field at the center, isn't it? So magnetic field at the center of the current carrying circular wire is inversely proportional to its radius. Greater the radius, smaller will be the strength of the magnetic field, and smaller the radius, the greater will be the strength of the magnetic field, right? And third, students, it depends upon the number of turns. It also depends upon the number of turns. Suppose the number of turns is represented by a small letter n, right? So it depends upon the number of turns of the circular wire. So basically, if the number of turns of the circular wire or loop are increased, then the magnetic field at the center of the loop is also found to increase, right? Because in all the turns, the current will flow in the same direction. So the magnetic field at the center will get added up. So as a result, the magnetic field at the center of the current carrying loop is directly proportional to the number of turns of the wire. That is, greater the number of identical turns, greater is the strength of the magnetic field at the center. So magnetic field is found to be directly proportional to the number of turns. So students, these are the factors on which the magnetic field produced at the center of a current carrying circular wire depends, right? So students, do practice the plot of these magnetic field lines due to a straight current carrying conductor and due to a circular current carrying loop. These are very, very important questions from examination point of view. So students, that's it for this particular session. Do take very good care of yourself, stay healthy, stay fit, and always keep smiling. Thank you, and do join me in my next lecture then.